Okay, now I want to talk about the primitives, primitive casting, how we can change from one primitive data type to another primitive data type. So as we know, guys, there's 8 primitive types in Java, which is Boolean, byte, char, short, int, long, float, double. These primitive types are building blocks of Java. They're very special and they're not classes in Java. So this is their sizes, which means the number of memory they will take from the Java once we're creating them in Java. And here's the values they are taking. Boolean takes only 2 values, which is true or false. Byte takes the numbers between 1 minus 128 to plus 127. Char takes a single character. It can be a letter, number, special character that's an ASCII table. Short takes the ranges between these 2 numbers. Int takes the numbers between these these two numbers, and the long takes the huge numbers. As you can see, the range between the numbers it can take is days and days. Float and double, those are very special because they are taking the numbers with the decimals. Okay, so with the decimal points. So the float takes up to 7 decimals, while double takes up to 16 decimals in the number. So once we create any variable in Java, let's say we're gonna create integer. So and we'll try to convert that integer to long. We can easily do that. Why? Because integer is smaller than long, so it can automatically convert that to long. But converting a long to integer, it is a little bit challenged. Why? Because long is a big number and the integer is smaller, so we need to explicitly mention for a Java that we are converting it to the integer. Let me show you that in practice. I'm gonna go to IntelliJ. Right here, I'm gonna create a class with the name of casting rules. And here I will create the main method. So let's say I will create one integer, okay, with the number 1. Okay, I will say number 1 equals to, let's say 10. Okay, so converting this integer into the long, it is easy. So we will take that integer and we will store it to the long. We'll say long number equals to number 1. So this is how we take this integer and we simply store it to the long, which is possible. Why? Because integers, as I say, the smaller than long. So here's the thing. We have how many, say, the numerical primitives we have, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's say 6. So here we have integer. Okay, we have a long, we have a float, we have a double, and on this side we have the short, we have the byte. So this is the order they actually have. So the smallest one will be the byte, bigger than the byte will be short, bigger than the short will be integer, bigger than integer will be long, and float and double. This is their order, how they're structured. So here is the thing. So if you want to convert, okay, byte to short or short to int or int to long or long to float, float to double. So Java, if you want to convert it from smallest one to biggest one, Java actually will help us to do that. Okay, so Java will automatically cast it, which means change that data type. For example, like we said here, integer, we have integer and we are storing it to the long, which means we are changing that data type, having another data type and restoring that into the long, which means we can store it and Java will automatically change it, which is casted. If you want to do in reverse, for example, we want to convert the double into the float or float to long or float to int or double to short, whatever, right? In this way, which is from the biggest one to the smallest one. In this case, we need to do something called the casting ourselves. We need to do it explicitly. So for example, I'm gonna try to store the integer into the byte. I'm gonna say byte byte number equals to number one, which is our integer, And here it will give a compilation error. It will tell, hey, you try to store an integer to the byte. So you can't do that. Okay, why? Because I can't really convert it automatically to the byte. But if you still want to do that, if you want to convert that number into the byte, you need to explicitly mention that right here and explicitly cast it with putting these two parentheses, telling this number one will be converted to the byte. And then this will be accepting it, okay, because we are explicitly mentioning it. The same with the other numbers, long to integer. If you want to convert long to integer, we got to do the same, or float to integer or double to integer, double to short. If we going backward, we need to always explicitly cast the numbers, okay?